Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to give you some tips on how to prepare for a Band 8A role in the NHS. So hi, welcome back. My name's Sabrina Phillips. I'm a service director working with NHS and partners to deliver high quality care. On this channel I give you the tips to skyrocket your nurse career, and let's just get into this video. Please do make comments below, like and share if you find any value in what I'm about to give you. Last thing I want you to do, and I've said it on many of my other videos, the tips I'm about to give you is things I've used as well, and you will notice a theme as you go through my videos. So when I went for my first 8A role, which was in 2014 actually, so a few years ago, I saw the role, looked at it. It was an education and training lead for a specific pathway, and at the time it really aligned with what I still do, what I really enjoy doing, which is around using my skills in quality improvement, supporting the development of staff to ensure that we deliver high quality care. So when I saw this role and looked at the job description, it just really sang to me. So I quickly contacted the person that was advertising the role and spoke to them, and they were so kind. They met with me and gave me, the background of where this role was coming from, what they had in terms of the plans for this role, how it fit into the organisational strategy, and at the time we were in specific clinical groups, so how that fitted in with the client that we wanted to work with. What was great for me is I saw how my previous role as a quality improvement facilitator really linked and read across to this role, but also I'd done previous roles as a practice development nurse, and I'd also had experience of managing a ward. So I knew that my skills, my experience, my knowledge were transferable into this role. And at the time I was and had led trust-wide change and quality improvement process. So I knew that the things that I'd done before were really matching. So I say this to say, the first thing, once you are thinking of applying for a specific role, or if you have applied for the role, please do contact the person that has advertised the role. It does two things. It gets you a bit more information about the role itself, find out a bit about the history of the role, where the direction of travel in terms of that role, but also it gives you an opportunity to meet your potential manager. If possible, go and visit where you'll be working as well, because it also helps you to gauge the environment and the culture of that team, and you can see if you fit in as well. So my second tip is, you then look at the job description for the role. What you want to do is pick out what you think are the key functions of the role. So you might want to do 3 to 5. I know, job descriptions these days are very long. Key functions of the role, and 2, the things that you are currently doing or have done in your past that links to this role, because it then helps you to start formulating some of your examples around what your knowledge, skills and experience are that makes you right for this role. So hence, when you go into an interview question, you've got some of those examples already. Okay, so that is my first tip and my second tip. The third tip that I want you to think of, and this is specifically for NHS roles, however it might be similar in other organisations, questions that you do get asked now is around what are things that you are currently doing or have done in your past that links to this role, because it then helps you to start formulating some of your examples around what your knowledge, skills and experience are that makes you right for this role. So hence, when you go into an interview question, you've got some of those examples already. Okay, so that is my first tip and my second tip. The third tip that I want you to think of, and this is specifically for NHS roles, however it might be similar in other organisations, questions that you do get asked now is around what are some of your thoughts on equality, equity and diversity and inclusion, or what are you doing to support equity, diversity and inclusion in the workplace. There's a lot that you can look in, you can Google that in the NHS, but most organisations will have some sort of trust-wide strategy that is looking at how they're going to reduce the inequalities gap that we know is in existence not only for service users but also experienced by the workforce. So what you need to really think of is your own thoughts on it. What have you done in your own role, and how you would then take this forward in the role that you are applying for. And it's always good, like I say, to look at the trust strategy, look at what they're doing specifically, but also more importantly look wider. So we've got the workforce race equality standards, we've also got the disability standards, and we also have things like the review of the Mental Health Act. And because I work in mental health, I need to know about these things that are now looking at how we've got the patient care and race equality framework, which looks at how we reduce the inequalities for our service users as well. So you really need to think about what your response is for a question like that. The next question I think you need to think about when you're preparing for this role, about how you have worked with service users or how you will work with service users. And again, looking at your current experience, really think about things like how you've co-produced with service users. And if you don't know what that is, I suggest you start having a look about what co-production is, because we are going to be doing a lot more of that in healthcare. And essentially is where the communities and people that we serve are with us in designing and delivering services from the very start. So think about how you would answer a question about working with service users as well. The other thing to think about is in the NHS we are continually improving, and if you're going for Band 8A job, you're either going to be expected to lead some sort of change or support some sort of change. So what you need to think about is where you have either led on change before, and I can understand if you are, if this is your first 8A role, you might not have specific projects where you have actually led on stuff. So it might be something you want to think of currently in your job that you're doing. Are there little projects or things that niggle you about work that you think if we did it this way, it might be different, and how you bring colleagues in to work on that change. So think about change management process, your leadership style and change, but also how you will deal with some of the barriers or resistance of in the NHS is using quality improvement methodologies to continue to improve the services that we provide. So I would suggest, if you're not aware of, and I'd be surprised if you weren't, what quality improvement initiatives that are happening in your current area or your trust, you also have a read up on this so that you can as well show what you're doing in your interview towards. And lastly, because you have applied for an 8A role, this is going to be a leadership role. It might be your foray into the start of going into more strategic parts of the NHS. So one of the things you really need to think about is your leadership style, how you deal with conflicts, but also how you use policies, human resources support to deal with some of the conflicts that you will entail in the workforce, whether that is between staff and staff, whether that is between staff. And things that you really need to think of is your leadership style. And what I want to say about leadership styles is they should be quite fluent, because you might have to be autocratic in some situations, collaborative in others, transformational in others, and there's a myriad of other leadership style. But you need to understand what your default one is and what you might be working on, because they might ask you things around your strengths and weaknesses. And I always say, if you do mention a weakness, do mention what you're doing to improve upon that. It's important as leaders you are reflective and able to critically appraise your own behaviours and how it might impact on situations, especially when we have conflict in the workplace. Will manage conflict, how your leadership style will impact upon it. I do like to give a bonus, and my bonus tip is do look at the person's specification for the job that you're going for. Interviews are not tests. They're not Interviews are there to bring the best out of you, and one of the ways of bringing the best out of you is ensuring that you are prepared as best as you can. So by ensuring that you understand the job description but you should have specific examples that you can pull into the questions so that you can demonstrate to your prospective employer that you will be able to hit the... So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope that you are successful in your next interview. Please do like, subscribe. If you have found value in this video, please share with your colleagues, and do leave your comments below to ask me anything you'd want me to expand on. And let's be bold and brave together. Take care. Bye.